Hello YouTube friends, welcome to the Red Parrot channel. I am your host, Mary Ellen. This is an episode of at K3N Cloth Tales Weekly Slow Stitch 2024. See also the hashtag Slow Stitch with K3N both here on YouTube and on Instagram for more inspiration and for more of what everybody else has been doing. So, missed last week, couldn't be helped. So we have some catch up, and I have some tea. So, let's see, where are we at? So, 9-patch applique, which is sort of an English paper piecing with flannel, which just absolutely rocked my world. And this is what I came up with. So this is the tea and iron dyeing. This is some echo printing. This leaf here, I'll lift it up so you can have a better look. This is buckthorn. I think some of the other bits and pieces might be the red seed things from sumac. That's some more buckthorn there. And so it was supposed to be a 9-patch, and I felt really sad having to cover that up because it was, it felt very of a kind, being this is one kind of printing and that's another kind of printing. So I left that out. And so the 9th square in the middle is actually just the raw material. I was also supposed to be doing a poem that could be read this way and then also this way, and I completely forgot about that until I was watching Catherine do an update on this, and she shared a poem that one of the makers and viewers created, which I thought was quite lovely, but I completely forgot about it. It was enough that I just did this. Obligatory, here's the back. Really enjoyed doing this. Love the idea of doing English paper piecing with flannel. It rocks my world in a really interesting way because you can create this texture. So anyways, that is week 9. Week 8. Week 9. 9 is 9-patch. Okay, got it. The past week was what I would call a raw edge freeform applique. Let's talk about freeform applique first. Yeah. So this is my template for fabric. Let's see if we can create this. 1, 7 maybe. That's carpet. 6, 5, 4, and Gracie probably has the 3 and the 2. It's somewhere around. So I had a heck of a time drawing this image. Catherine has done a lot of this image. She has several quilts with this as the feature pattern, and so she has the pattern somehow in her head that it's quite consistent, even though it is hand done. It has a very, it is very regular, and mine was not regular. My first 4 attempts were just absolute bother. I was drawing it this way, and then I decided, oh, why don't I just draw it this way? And it seemed to improve things somewhat. So anyways, that was my raw pieces, -2. And here is, oops, here is my result. Whoops, it goes this way. So let's just for grins and gigs. That goes there, 4 goes there, 7 goes there, 5 goes there. You can see the 2 and the 3 is there. So got this. The yellow is men's shirt, cotton shirt that I was just using. I wanted something that was a little bit contrasty. You will note, if anybody has seen the dyeing of the iron dyeing, this is not the same fabric as that. This is the ugly cherry Christmas tablecloth that did not improve necessarily from, this is what it looked like. It just became quite hideous on the right side, but the wrong side is quite good. So you'll be able to tell that there's a difference in color. So your eyes aren't tricking you. So we used that, and I wanted something that had some kind of contrast so it would come up from the material. That's how we got that. I did the basting on all of the applique first, which is the sort of the quick back basting stitch that Catherine has taught everyone, which I think is superb. I have used that actually. I was repairing a garment and I needed to put a patch on, and I used that as the baste for the patch before I did the actual sewing. Works a treat. It's really, really good and absolutely part of my core skill set now, which is really great. So then I got to the point where I went, meh, okay, now what? And so first thing I did was I crocheted some green yarn, and I put some red in it just to create some variation. And then once I had that down, I thought, okay, what color should I make these petals? And I had in my mind that I was going to do pink and purple, pink as a nod to what this used to be. And I was going through colors, and I have most of my embroidery thread is DMC or Anchor, and I have very small amounts of two what I would call posh brands of thread. One is House of Embroidery, which comes from South Africa, and it is hand-dyed stuff. I get it via Sue Spargo, and she's located in the States. And the other one is Steph Francis, who is a fiber dyer from the UK. And Steph Francis creates these beautiful bundles of what do you call them? Texture bundles. So it's the same colorway applied to 5 different threads. And I had a couple of those, and I was just playing around, and I realized that, ooh, this would go really nicely with that green, and it would have this sort of quite light, vibrant effect. So of the 5 textures, this was the thread that made the most sense to embroider on. It was the thinnest, lightest. And what happened then? Oh, so it is a bundle of different fibers, and so there is a limited amount of fiber, and I needed to get that thread to go all the way around. And these 3 are quite large, and these 3 are small. So I started up here, and then just sort of worked my way down, so you can sort of see that these are a little bit airy, I should say. This is my favorite one, and I'll hold it up to the camera in a second, because of the way the stitches go. There's a certain tightness and solidity to them, which is really great. And this was the first one that I did, a bit of a rough patch. So let's hold this one up to the camera so you can see that. Does that help any? Oh yeah, you can get it really close. So there we are. And this is a close second. Came out really nice. Really, really liked it. And this is the leaf stitch. I used what did I use? Because it's a useful resource. And I said useful resource. Everybody's ears have perked up. What's the useful resource? If you Google Stitch Bank, I think it's the Royal RSA. Royal Stitch Academy, Stitch Bank. It is a UK free resource, and it is a gorgeous site. It has all of the stitches completely searchable, instructions, videos, everything you ever wanted to know to be able to recreate a stitch is there. I will do a better job next time of having that as a reference, because I think I will use it more than once. I always wanted to know how to do the leaf stitch, and I always figured it's like, oh, I should just be able to do it out of my head. And it's like, I was doing it as wrong as you can possibly imagine. So quite happy with that. Got all of this done, and now I am completely dissatisfied with this color because it does not go, and I really want to pick it out, and then put in, of that texture color, a different fiber to be able to create that. And I think that will improve it tremendously. And also, de rigueur, we flip it over so you can see the backside. And you will see the ugliness of the fabric, but you can see how the stitches go. You can see the basting stitch. And I also did, I don't know if you can tell, I did an outline. So I did the basting, I did a running stitch outline, and then I did the leaf stitch. So I worked a lot of work in this one. I am pleased with it though, and I'm, like I say, super pleased with how this, this one is flatter than all the other ones because I keep petting it like a cat. But I think this needs to be picked out. Perfectly honest with you. And if I do that and I put something else in, I will for sure show you. That is week numero 10. And now we are on week numero 11. Get a pin out here. And 11, super one of my favorites, Kawandi. And I want to put a second eye, Kawandi. So Kawandi is an Indian form of quilting. Sidhi, S-I-D-H-I, is the region that this comes from. And there is a woman on YouTube. I, of course, show up, and I don't have her name close to my hand, and I don't have her channel close at hand. But I think if you look up Kawandi, you should be able to find her on YouTube. And when we revisit next week, I will have the reference for you. It's like her name is like it's like at A3tree or something. It's got the word tree in it, and it has the number 3 in it somewhere, or like A3 3 or something. She's a woman of advanced age, like she's 90. She has this spectacular past. She is still a musician, I am sure. And in her heyday, she was a professor of, I'm going to say keyboard and harpsichord at Berkeley, maybe. And she played harpsichord for a lot of the big bands, like the Rolling Stones and like that kind of band group. In any event, she has made a pilgrimage to and from Sidhi. She has filmed the women doing that work, and that's where I came across this is a method of doing stitching or doing quilting. And as K3N said, this is Kawandi inspired, and Kawandi means quilting. So a Kawandi quilt is like saying a quilt. So we can just call it Kawandi. So that is week 11. And because it is largely a scrappy kind of quilting, I am going to use, not that. This is all of my scrap thread, bits and pieces of this and that, and I think this would be another great opportunity. My current thought is this, that I use lighter fabrics and use this thread as a way of being able to highlight the stitch direction. So you start from the outer, you work in, and you basically go around and around and around and around and around until you get to the center, and then you put 4 little flowers on each end of the quilt, each quarter of the quilt. And so that's my current thought, always subject to change. And I'm going to use some more of my regular fabric. Ooh. Can I get one more out of this? Just. Okay, let's use this one then. So my thoughts, and I do have one. I bet this is not going to work. I'm just going to throw that out there because you kind of need a circular one to do this, I think. But we'll find out. Oh, you do not. Learning for me. It's not particularly smooth, but it's not awful. Nope, don't do that. What was I saying? Oh yes, so the size of this is my working template so that I get all my squares that are going to be about the same size. I have the idea that this is 6.5 by 6.5 inches so that my final square can be 6 by 6 if I ever end up wanting to for real quilt it. I could probably tear that. There. Okay, got some bits now. That's all right. And so this is going to be the back of the quilt. Oh, come back, you. So one of the things that we need is a center for the quilt. So maybe I can use this as the center, like a 6 by 6. This is my good one. That's my scrap. Oh. Oof. This does not tear even, but that's okay. So we have, this is the center. This is sort of your second layer to create like a quilty kind of feel to it. Because that's how fussy I can be. Is it the back side or the front side? It's the back side. There we are. And I might trim this up a bit. So now I have some philosophical questions, and we use this as a thought. I can either create the 1/2 inch around and then basically start this at the 1/2 inch and go around, or I can do it out here and then not have the 1/2 inch but have a belief that I'm going to lose it. So I think it's probably best that I do the 1/4 inch fold over. Like that. And then go around. So if I were stitching this, I might use this for a while. And then I'm trying to create high contrast with the thread and whatever material so I can then see the squares as they go along, because I think that's one of the features. So that is the plan for this week. I will for sure check in next week well, I will check in, hopefully next week, all things being equal, the creek don't rise. And we will see what we have wrought for Kawandi, and we will also see what is up for week 12. And I can't believe we're on week 12. This means that it's like a quarter of the year has almost gone by. That is bananas. Anyways, that's all for now. I will talk to you soon. Bye now.